and I said, God, if you want my family to move, I need to see specific confirmation. I want to see these words. Now is the time. And I kid you not, you guys. That same day, I got a text message from Sam's Club and it said, now is the time. Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the Dear New Disciple podcast. My name is Bree. I am the host of this podcast, of this channel. And the whole mission of this channel is to build biblically sound disciples. So the way that we do it here is by daily, Monday through Saturday, Bible study videos. We are going through the Bible in a year. So if you're looking for a Bible study community, you can go ahead and check out one of those videos. And then also I am posting weekly podcast episodes. And so today's video is going to be a testimony video. I want to open up and bring you guys into how God moved my family from Kansas State all the way to Washington State. Hopefully it will help somebody who is struggling with whether God is having them move or whether they are looking for a sign or confirmation on if God is telling them to move. And so I'm really hoping that this video will do that for you if you are looking for confirmation in some way. And so this whole abrupt move came about in, I believe, September or October of 2025. God had given me a dream. And I mean, this dream was long. Like, it felt like a really long dream. It had a lot of stages in it. And so I won't give too many details about the dream, but the portion of the dream in which I felt like God was planting a seed for my family to move was at the end of the dream. And so at the end of this dream, me and my husband had moved into this like new apartment or something. And it was these movers that brought all of our stuff there. And my husband was saying like, okay, I need to go back and get all of our stuff. And I was like, no, the movers already brought all this stuff. And then I was also telling him in that dream, see, it wasn't that hard to move. And so context is that in real life at that time, we still had like 6 months before our lease was up at the place we were staying at. And we were contemplating on if we were going to renew the lease or if we were going to move. And so in the dream, when I had made that comment saying, see, it wasn't that hard for us to move, I had a feeling in the dream that we had even moved further than just down the street. And so coming back to real life, when we were contemplating on if we were going to move or not, we were just going to move to a different place because that place was getting expensive. We weren't going to change states or anything. And so in the dream, when I made that comment, I had a feeling that we were talking about we moved further away. So that was the dream that I had. That was like the first seed that was planted of God telling us that we're about to move. And so then I have that dream. And then at this time, my husband randomly was told about some job in Washington and he put in the application for it. And this was so random, you guys. All of this happened so randomly. We were thinking, okay, we can go to Washington if he gets this job, but we were not like hanging our hats on it. We were not banking everything on us moving to Washington. We thought for sure, okay, we're just going to get a cheaper place. It was getting expensive because they kept raising the rent. And so then after having this dream, I'm just seeking the Lord, like, God, are we moving? Lord, are we supposed to move out of this place? God, are we moving? And so then I had seen one YouTube video and this was so random. And it was a lady who had said that God moved her family from Washington State to Kansas State. And that was so weird because at the time I had told a friend and the friend was like, there's 50 states in the US. How interesting is it the fact that these are the same 2 states that I'm contemplating? And so that was kind of one confirmation, okay? And so we're going about it. I'm still praying about it. And it's maybe been like a week at this point. And my husband decided to put in an application for this job in Washington. And so then a week goes by and he gets an email saying, okay, you've been moved up to the next stage in the application process, not even getting the job. But I know that God knew that is what my husband needed for us to make this jump. And so that was now, to me, the second confirmation that God was trying to get our family to move to Washington. And so he got that email. And so now we were really contemplating like, oh my gosh, are we really going to move from Kansas to Washington? Like, we still have 6 months on the lease. And now if we leave the lease early, we'll have to pay extra. And so all these questions started coming up. And so I think a couple days go by and I'm still praying on it. And I'm like, God, do you really want my family to move from Kansas to Washington? Like, we still have 6 months left on this lease. There was just a lot of reasons why we shouldn't move and it made no sense. None of this made any sense in the natural. And so I prayed a specific prayer and I said, God, if you want my family to move, I need to see specific confirmation. I want to see these words. Now is the time. Those specific words. And I kid you not, you guys, that same day, I got a text message from Sam's Club and it said, "Now is the time." I remember it like that was the most specific confirmation I have ever gotten from the Lord in my life. In my life, like that was the most specific prayer I had ever prayed and the most specific confirmation I had ever gotten from the Lord. Now is the time. And it was so random because Sam's Club never sent advertisement like that. And so that was now to me the third confirmation of God wanting my family to move. And so it didn't stop there. We also got supernatural provision for this move. We got a check that helped us with this move that we were not even looking for, but really it was what helped us get out of that lease and move across country. And so after that, then it was about a month of us figuring out the logistics of moving. And mind you, when it was time for us to move, my husband did not get this job yet. We moved completely in faith. We moved specifically because they said he was moved up to the next portion of the application, but he did not get an interview yet. He didn't get the job yet. And so my logic was like, okay, if you're at stage 2, they're going to have to interview you at some point and it's going to snow soon. And we were driving our car because we have kids. And so then we decided, okay, we're going to have to drive before the snow and he is going to have to quit his job and we were just going to move with no job. So that's exactly what we did. We left Kansas in November, I think it was Thanksgiving Day, and we drove to Washington and we got here right on time because the day after Thanksgiving Day, it snowed in Kansas and it was like a crazy storm. And I'm pretty sure it would have been so miserable to drive through. And so we drove, and when we got here to Washington State, he had no job. I had no job, and he had quit his job that he was doing in Kansas. And so that check that we got randomly, that supernatural provision, was what allowed us to be able to sit for pretty much a whole month before my husband could get a job. And you guys, he didn't even get the job that we drove here for. Like, he chose not to take it, but that was what he needed to do this move. And so God worked everything out. I have a church that I just started going to that I absolutely love. And then my husband has the job that he loves. And we get to spend a lot more family time. This all happened because God gave me a dream. And in the dream, I said, yeah, moving wasn't as hard as you thought. But it just shows you that when God is asking you to do something, or when God is telling you to do something, or when he is moving you, he will provide the means to do it. I've heard it explained like this before. If God is asking you to do something, he is the one who will pay the bill. And when he moved us, he completely paid the bill. And he moved us in 1 month and he completely paid the bill. And I still have yet to know why specifically he moved us to Washington State, but I do know that the church that I'm going to is perfect for the season that I'm in. I just started doing the Bible in a year on my YouTube channel, and that is not something I was thinking about last year at all. And so with this move, you know, God has also kind of put me into full-time ministry, and it's him who's doing it. He is the one who is leading me and guiding me. So I really hope that this video is encouraging somebody, whether you feel like God is telling you to move or whether you feel like God is pulling you into a new season or a new direction or full-time ministry, or does he really want you to move across country? I really hope that this is encouraging you to seek him and ask him for confirmation, because he will tell you, he will give you confirmation. And if he is the one that is asking you to do this big thing and completely uproot your life, he will pay the bill. So you don't have to be worried. You don't have to stress about it. He will pay the bill. He wants you somewhere. He's trying to get you something. He's trying to get you to go where he needs you to be. So I really hope that this is encouraging. And moving with God, like making this massive move of moving our entire family across country with no job, has encouraged my faith a lot. And it has increased my confidence in hearing God's voice. You know, I would get really stuck in thinking, I can't hear God's voice, but God will tell you what he needs to tell you, and he will tell it to you in different ways. The words I wanted him to tell me came in a text message from Sam's Club. Another confirmation came from a YouTube video. Another confirmation showed up in my husband's email. So God will speak to us. He will get the confirmation to us. He knows what will get our attention. He knows how to speak to us and what will make us focus on what he's trying to say, which there are times in which he does not send the confirmation. Lately, there has been a lot of times in which I've been asking for confirmation and he doesn't even give it to me until after I do it in faith. And so, you have to ask the Lord whatever season you're in, but I hope that this encourages you no matter what. So if God is asking you to do the thing, quit the job, move to a new place, anything that you feel like is so bizarre or just out of left field, seek him. And when he tells you to go, go, because he will carry you the entire way. And so that is it for today's podcast episode. I just wanted to share my testimony, and I really do pray that it encourages somebody's faith today. And so if you're looking for a Bible study community, you can check out my YouTube channel. We are reading from Genesis to Revelation, so I have a whole playlist and you can go check that out. And if not, then you will see me every week for a podcast episode. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment if this encouraged you, or comment if God is telling you to move, or just your crazy testimony. And I will see you guys in the next video.